What's up, everybody? It's your boy, DJ Bass, back with another episode of the Beat Break. And in this episode of the Beat Break, we're going to be looking at a Rick Ross type track, okay? A Rick Ross type beat. And when we first started this track, we didn't set out to make a Rick Ross type beat. It's just how it turned out. And okay, so with that out the way, let's proceed. And so when we started, we just tapped out a tempo and it winded up 80. Yeah. You see that's a pretty slow tempo, and so that's regular time. That's a regular 4-bar loop as it appears in the piano roll. Okay? And so we knew we wanted to make a kind of laid back, smooth track. We didn't necessarily know we wanted to make a Rick Ross type beat. So we started with some chords, man. So I laid down a little chord progression. And basically this is C natural minor, but we started on F. Okay? And we ended on C right here. All right? And basically what we did was just played a little 4-note chord progression for each bar. Okay, 4 chords, 4 bars, and we used that root note for each bar as a bass note down here at the bottom, and we just set the velocity, and also we offset the notes to give it a kind of a natural feel. Okay, and we did that at each bar. Okay, kind of offset and change the velocity to give it a kind of human feel. All right, and this is what that sound like. Let me turn it on. Okay. Okay, and it had kind of a bluesy feel to it. I kind of liked it, but I kind of wanted to warm it up a little bit. Okay, and so what I did was I brought in another chord progression with another instrument, right? And this is the instrument, right? And we just followed that same chord progression, but as you can see, we kind of shortened that first chord up and added a little note at the end. And that second chord, we did the same thing and added a little longer note at the end. And then we kept the second half of that 4-bar progression the same, all right? And that just added a little movement and just a little raspiness we was looking for. And this is what it sounds like together. All right, and you see that kind of warmed that up and gave it a little bit more movement with these extra notes here, all right? And plus it gave it a little bit more grit to it, all right? But at this point, man, we was listening to that metronome, and it was kind of getting on our nerves. So we had to turn that off, because if you keep that metronome on too long, you'll start producing that track according to that metronome. So we knew we wanted to add our own rhythm, our own little metronome to go by at this point. So we brought in Fruity Sense Live, okay? And we just started laying down some drum sounds, and we started with the snare. Okay, and we set that value at around 78. And we just dropped it on the 2 and the 4. All right. Yeah. All right. And at that point, man, this is what we was looking for. A nice mellow track that you could kind of groove to. Okay. But at the same time, we knew we wanted to thicken that snare up. And so what we did was went to this clap. And we set that value at around 78. Okay. And we just kept it the same, man. We just followed that same pattern. All right. That's the snare. But we set that clap at a slightly lower velocity. And this is what it sounds like together. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. And at this point I was like, okay, that sounds pretty good, but we need to speed that rhythm up. So we went on to this hat. Boom. And you see we added a little stutter step, okay, because it's not trap. And we kind of keeping it semi-realistic, all right? And so we set that value at around 41, all right? Because we wanted it lower than everything else so far. And together it sounds like this. Okay. All right, man. At this point, I was like, okay, that's enough for Fruity Drum Synths Live. Okay. Done us pretty well. But we decided, okay, the snare. We still need to pop that snare out a little bit more. It wasn't sounding exactly the way we wanted it to sound. So we went and got us another snare. Okay, and we kept that same pattern. We just dropped it where we dropped that other snare. All right. Yeah. And now you can see it thickened it up, man. And that's what I was looking for. Okay. And at this point, I was like, I'm not gonna go any further with the drums because if I add that kick right now, I might stop on the music too soon. And so I just wanted to get back to the music. And so what I did was I went to this instrument, this piano. Okay. And I just played the same notes, all right? And this time I just followed that chord progression because I wanted to give it a little more bass, all right? And this is what it sounds like with everything else. Yeah. All right. Okay. And at this point, man, I'm like, all right, I'm feeling this groove, all right? So, okay. But I was like, hey, at this point, man, we need to warming that up even more, okay? Because I wanted to feel it. I wanted to feel a little more bass here, okay? Right now it's kind of thin. I just wanted to bring that bass out in. Okay, so what I did was I went to this sound, okay? I went to the synth sound, okay? I just followed the same notes as the chord progression. And this is what it sounds like together. Yeah. Okay. All right. And at this point, man, I'm like, yeah, this is what we're looking for. But believe it or not, man, look, I wanted even more bass, so I decided to just go with an 808 because I wanted to feel that bass in my chest. And you gotta look at it, man. We're not doing any processing, no EQing, you know what I'm saying? No compressing, no delay, no reverb. It's just straight a blueprint right now, okay? And so later on, we could bring that boom out with some distortion or whatever, man. But we just adding the elements so we'll have something to work with. And so we add this 808, just like I said, and this is the sound. And we just wanted to follow that chord progression, right? And this is what it sounds like when we put it with everything else. Yeah, and you can see at the end, we kind of elongated that third note and brought that fourth note. We lagged that note a little bit, about a quarter note, all right? And that gave a little bit more movement and that raspiness and plus a little bit more bass that we wanted, okay? And you can see. All right, and at that point, man, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling good about this, all right? But at the same time, I was like, it's kind of sounding like we could go with a verse or something on that after we add the drum, but I wanted to put just a little bit more music in there, okay? So we decided to go here with another synth sound, and we just wanted to add a few notes in there, man, just to kind of brighten it up. And we wanted to keep it simple, as you can see. But as you can see, these notes are a little different in length. All these notes are the same size. These are just a little different in size. So are these. And we just kept this the same, but we dropped that last note off, but we changed the velocity of each sound, and it gave it a different sound. And when we put it with what we had, this is what we came up with. All right, and at this point I was like, yeah, okay, now we got a little bit more energy, and yeah, I can definitely drop a verse to that once we drop these drums on it, okay? So at this point I was like, hey man, look, we're gonna need something for when the break comes, you know what I'm saying, to add a little bit more feeling in it. So what I did was added another synth sound, okay? We just went with this sound here. Pardon that, man, kind of loud. Okay, we just went with that sound. All right, and basically we just followed the chord progression, except for that first note. All right, and when we put it with everything else, this is what it sounds like, and it's kind of an answer to this note. Okay, you hear that, and then we bring that in to add a little bit more movement. All right, and a lot more energy, and this is what it sounds like. Oh yeah, and at this point I was like, yeah, now we can go ahead and add that kick drum in there and kind of finish it on out. Boom. So that's what we did, and we added a little simple kick drum pattern in there. Nice healthy kick, and we just kind of left all the notes the same, but right here on that second bar we had a velocity change, and on the fourth bar another velocity change, slightly more velocity change, and this is what it sounds like with everything else, man. All right, man. And at this point I was like, yeah, we doing that Ricky Rose thing to a degree, and we decided not to add any crashes or cymbals in it because we could do that later. All right, we just giving y'all a basic blueprint to get started in that Ricky Rose direction. But at this point we was like, I think we hitting all bases, the break, intro, and verse. But I was like, we need to add just a little bit more interest, man. So what we did was we added like a piano sound in the background, and so we played a little pattern, and this is the pattern, just a little simple pattern. Okay, and when you put it with everything else, it sounds like this. But this side is just FL keys, but this is how it sounds with everything else. Okay, and at that point, man, what we did was we went on ahead and put it in the piano roll. I mean, in what is the thing is? Playlist right here. And we decided to just do a verse and a sort of a hook. Okay, and this is what it would sound like. You know, you would start it's your verse. Yeah, and on that note, man, it's your boy DJ BASE, DJ Bass. And if this video was helpful to you, man, or if you enjoyed it, like, comment, and subscribe. And next time on the Beat Break.